Previously on Daniel DiPiazza TV. If I don't get this campaign successfully done and we don't launch it, we won't make any money. And if we don't make any money right now, we will run out of money in about 5 weeks. So that's the reality of it. This is something that all startup entrepreneurs, founders know the feeling of very well. It's the feeling of being on a time clock, on a treadmill. You could even say on a ticking time bomb. That is your business, and you have to solve the problem because you're in a pressure situation where your back is up against the wall, and if you don't solve it, the thing explodes. But when you do solve it, they just hand you another bomb, and you got to defuse that one later. So entrepreneurship is just a series of diffusing a series of bombs until you get to the final bomb, in which you hope either kills you or makes you a lot of money. Today, what I want to share with you and show you is how the iteration process behind coming up with marketing ideas is so much deeper than you'd think when it comes to even just developing your position. I had a 2-hour meeting with Isaac, our co-founder, which I'm not going to post the entire thing, but I will post some select pieces of it, because what I want you to see in this is how on the previous episode yesterday, I shared with you how we'd been working through our marketing positioning around a campaign that we're going to launch. And I honestly ended up scrapping that because I realized this is not going to hit. In the environment that we're in right now, things are so saturated that it doesn't mean marketing doesn't work. It doesn't mean that people don't want your services. It means that you have to be so crystal clear about who you're speaking to, and the offer has to be so good that they feel stupid saying no to it. This is a Hormozi thing. And I have a love-hate relationship with Alex Hormozi's content, but about that, he's absolutely right. About a lot of things, he's absolutely right. And so today's meeting with Isaac is literally us just pulling the wool out of our eyes, pulling our heads out of our own asses, and basically looking at our position, looking at what we're offering and saying, does this cut the mustard? Does this do what we need it to do? Now, what I think is so telling about this conversation I'm having with Isaac is that the amount of time it takes to work out the details around what we're dealing with here is several hours long. And even at the end of that conversation, we still haven't come to a conclusion. We still haven't figured it out. And I think so many people will be helped by just seeing this process of iteration, of talking through our ideas, because you might realize then that this is not a fast process. A lot of times in like business trainings and stuff, you're like, well, we just brainstorm, we come up with the idea, then we implement, execute, move things, break fast. But that's not the campaign I thought we were going to launch today. I think it's going to take us 1 to 2 more weeks just to figure out the position and launch it well, because it's going to have a better impact if we launch it correctly and we really know what we're doing, or at least we have a great first shot at it, than if we just launch something just to say that we got it out and then it doesn't really hit. All that to say, I'll let you be the judge of how smart we are and how good we are at what we're doing by watching this behind the scenes of my meeting with Isaac.
Well, it's like, no shit. Yes, that is what we're ultimately doing, but that's not going to be the headline that necessarily draws people in. And it has to be something that addresses, what's his name? Robert Collier says, you want to have a conversation with someone. You want to insert yourself into a conversation someone's already having in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that conversation? With Scribe, the conversation is like, I know I just keep going back to them, but they're, the model we're looking against in terms of at least publishing services, because some other authors would apply to ours. They'd be like, live your legacy, document your authority, which is, are they hitting pain points or are they just talking about positives? Let's see.
I think that's still true. Like, we still do want to tell people document their authority and all of that.
Sure. But it's like professional publishing services to help you publish your book, market your book. We help entrepreneurs write, publish, and market their books, because it's not just a book, it's your legacy. They're like focused on turning they're focused on taking away the grunt work of doing the book. That's what they're really focused on. Your book, your words, no typing. We'll help you. We'll put it out. Like, it's more of like, people have thought about writing a book and they realize how much work it is. And they're like, I'll just go to Scribe, and Scribe will either do it or finish it for me. That's kind of their position. Ours is like, turn your book into a revenue generating machine, turn your book into a revenue engine. So they don't really say that on here. Like, they don't actually, none of their stuff leads with that. This is all about writing, publishing, and marketing. Leverage your book to build your business and a community. So they have this guy on here. Use our book launch to generate over 6 figures in 6 months, plus use marketing. So I mean, like, this is one mention of it, but our whole thing is about data and driving sales and, trust, ROI, and lowered customer acquisition. So it's a totally sharper position on this. So what's their pain point that they're hitting here? The tedium of doing a book? Excuse me.
Yeah, not knowing how to take your idea from either I wrote it on paper and I have it now, what do I do with it? Or one step before that is I have an idea for a book. I don't have the time, space, or energy to actually sit down and write it, but I know this needs to get out.
Similar thing with James too. The whole idea is to have an entry-level product that makes it easy for people to get on the phone with you and be essentially pre-sold because of the trust, especially when you're dealing with things like finances and addiction.
So the blood here is, if you have a business, we can wordsmith this, but if you have a business that is doing something other than a very simple sale, for example, finances, addiction, yada, 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 right? And you need to build credibility. And
same thing with
trust.
Brett. He's doing healing, and
Sure,
people
healing.
would need to understand his perspective before paying him.
And you need to build authority and trust prior to people getting on the call with you. This is why you need this.
Mm-hmm.
We say that, I think, but not so direct. Meaning, like, I know that we say, you need to build authority and it shortens the customer time and everything like that. But even getting more specific on, if you're working on a business, like if your business is more than just a simple sale, if your business affects having to change people's lives in a significant way,
transformational.
If your business is transformational and you need to build authority with people,
that's a good line.
And this is why you need this, because it's
yeah.
not just that it's going to help you. It's like you have a need, you have a transformational business.
Well, transformation requires trust.
Transformation requires trust, and authority helps build that trust. We're getting somewhere.
Transformation requires trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting there. It's getting there. There's something. There's something.
A seed has been planted, and we just need to water it a little bit more. If you're a transformational business owner or a transformational leader, your number one asset is the faith and the trust that clients put in you.
Back to the pain. What's the pain that the business owner is feeling?
The pain of having to build that trust one-to-one versus one-to-many.
Well, they'd say, why not just do a podcast? It's free. Start tomorrow.
You can. And you
why should. Is a book better than that? Well, yeah, but why is a book the preferred medium?
IntelliBook. Because my answer to that is, like, you should have a podcast. You should also have a book.
As a headline, something along the lines of, like, the reason why, because if we're trying to speak to specifically people who have high ticket businesses, they're always thinking about customer acquisition costs, right? Dan Kennedy blew his whole load talking about this, about how, like, the person who can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. There's a whole philosophy around this. And we know that in the high ticket coaching game, it's all about how much you spend versus how much you're making. Mm-hmm. And there could be something along the lines of, like, the reason why your CAC is so high is because your customers don't trust you. Your customers don't trust you is the reason why your business is so expensive. You're spending all this money on marketing. It's working, but it's 5 times more expensive than it has to be. And the reason is because people don't trust you, which is the same thing when it comes to Hormozi's idea of a Grand Slam offer outperforms a mediocre offer by 10 or 100x. Mm-hmm. It could be the same essential thing, but the way it's positioned and the way it's talked about changes it. And I think with trust, if people already know, like, and trust you, they click through with so much less resistance that you spend much less marketing dollars to acquire them. So there is something there. Maybe if we could use that specific language, it would really dog whistle. the right type of people. The reason why your CAC, people don't use CAC unless they're in business, or even if we just say acquisition costs. But like the reason why your acquisition cost, there's a reason why Hermosi's company name is acquisition.com. It's about acquisition. I mean, I think he's trying to acquire other companies, but in general, it's customer acquisition. All the people who run these high ticket programs, it's just CAC, 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 isn't it? So that language, like trust influences that factor. And I'm wondering, like, even if we can show graphically, like before, after a book, like, I don't know. I think that would speak to those types of people more. And then the way that we do it is with a data-driven approach to authorship. Like that, I think, will appeal to that audience because they're really about numbers and data. And that, I think, would appeal to them, even though it's the same service.
What levers can we control in the publishing process that make it faster?
Writing time, editing time, design time. Writing is somewhat dependent on getting the information from the author, but with firm relationship and control of that relationship, we can get it as quickly as mostly we need it. The writing is controllable. What's not controllable is physical production time, shipping, logistical time, things like that. Everything else, it's a service. It's pretty much controllable. Then there's just quality concerns. There's a few issues with Amazon in terms of listing, but those are minimal.
There's a way. I can't see it right now. When we find that, when we can crack that nut, that'll be the answer to our issue.
Of what?
There's a way that New Wave Press can be faster than 9 months.
Of course.
But what can we say today that makes that true? I don't know.
6 months is an amazing turnaround. I mean, look, it's just like saying to Ryan, hey, shit out an album tomorrow. You just literally physically can't. So even if it's 6 months, that's an amazing turnaround time. And even that's like a long time when you're waiting on your CAC, because it's a day-to-day thing. Weekly, they're thinking about this. So it's a very serious pain point. So, I mean, and we don't have to pick this pain point. I kind of went down that rabbit hole. We can pull our asses back, our heads back out of our ass. But if we pick that pain point, it's a serious one. I think there's truth to it as well. I just don't know how we would solve that problem with expediency.
Does it have to be fast? I know the answer is it should be, but does it have
to? No. I think that there should be something like, I think people want to feel like they're getting something immediately after paying, which is why someone would spend 70 grand on a Porsche, but then not return my call for a book, because I get it. You're getting I would rather drive a Porsche than talk to me. Like, I get it. So you're getting something tangible from that. You're getting something physical. You're getting a reward. You're getting a feeling, so it's like, that's something we should consider. Not to gimmickify our thing, but like there should be some sort of tangible, something like feeling like they're winning immediately. I think it will help us with the offer being a no-brainer. And maybe we could just open up chat and just let's bring in chat. I think it's time to bring in chat now. Our brains have done what it can do. It's time to bring in the daddy. Let me bring in chat. Can you see this?
Yeah.
So this is a truth, and it's one of the most underrated insights in marketing. Now it's gassing me up already. Current articulation reads like a diagnostic on transformation. Cold audiences don't care about correlation studies or theories. They care about results now. So they need to reframe where they emotionally CAC is killing your margins. You're bleeding less leads because prospects don't believe you. Lots of traffic with no conversions. That's a trust problem. That's pretty good.
I think we have a decent idea of where we want to go.
Yes.
How do we stress test this before launching it quickly?
I think we need to talk to James. James is the cleanest of the avatars, and we need to see if these pain points are actually resonating with him. That would be one thing we can do to stress test. What else can we do to stress test it? I mean, I can make a list of people, honestly. I have a whole list of people who run these types of programs, and I can ask them these things.
Well, I was even trying to see if there's a mini way for us to...
Why don't we put together a simple survey and pass it to all my friends who have this stuff, right? Isn't that the simplest way? Hey, listen, we want to launch a new marketing campaign for the company. We're really getting hyper specific on targeting. I just need your honest feedback, and I need it in 2 days.
Sure. Yeah. Like this will take you 30 seconds. Like, does this sound good to you? Yes or no?
But yeah, like I'm always hesitant to you get juiced up about an idea. It sounds pretty good between two of us, and then GPT kind of confirms it, and then you got 3 people sucking each other's dick.
Correct.
And just
Correct.
I mean, the market ultimately will be the test. I do think it's good though that we we have identified that CAC is open lane.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I think that's next steps.
Okay. So I need to put that together today. I'll put together a quick survey and a list of people to send it out to. And then I will also kind of like debrief with some notes around how our offer could fit into this new structure. When we're talking about like mixtape versus album, I'm just going to debrief on it a little bit. We kind of have to get active quickly. I would like to get active by, it's Tuesday. It's Monday. Fuck, it's Monday.
I know. We wanted to launch this thing today, but we need to pump the brakes a second.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can give you the ads I made. I'm like, they're not remarkable. It's the market is too saturated to put out shit. Hello, would you like to start a book? Like, it's just not, it needs to be, it needs to have an edge to it. Otherwise, we're wasting money.
I mean, look, today's Monday. We got interviews and stuff this week, but still, I think that between today and we can just say the end of the week. Like, we can push it 1 week and say we launch this next Monday, but let's use this week to really dive into getting that clear so that when we do launch this on Monday, it hits so much harder than what it would have before.
So what did you think of that? Do you like seeing some BTS? Do you like seeing behind the scenes of me building this company? Do you have anything that you saw from just our conversation privately that resonated with you that you want to ask about? Do you have any questions? Put them below. If you like this and you want to see more of this, put BTS in the comments so I know that you loved seeing this behind the scenes stuff with Isaac and I, and I'll share more of this along the way. This is the whole idea of building in public. It's the whole idea of being vulnerable about this stuff, sharing this type of stuff, telling the scary stuff, because ultimately we're all on this journey alone, but together. See you soon.